going on, guys? BrettO Live back with another video, and welcome to the weekend review, episode 172. This is where we go over Raw and SmackDown in a WWE action figure setup. So I'm going to tell you guys what happened, tell you what I thought about it, my reactions, the results of both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown of that certain week. This is episode 172. Before we even get started, subscribe to the channel. We are working on 200,000 subscribers. Help me get there. That'd be really awesome, as well as follow me on Instagram at BrettOLive04. And without further ado, let's jump into Monday Night Raw first. We opened up the show with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch coming out, of course, talking about her injuries. Of course, she did suffer, I believe it was a dislocated shoulder at SummerSlam in her match against Bianca Belair. So she was coming out, talking about that, how she's face again, how she's still the man, how she respects Bianca Belair. She's like, Bianca Belair, get out here right now. So she comes out again. It's sort of a handshake, mutual respect type deal. And then Becky Lynch kind of just walks away, lets Bianca do her thing. Of course, Bianca Belair continues talking on the microphone how she's the Raw Women's Championship. And then she brings up Bayley a little bit. And then, of course, Bayley pops up on the Titantron with her little squad, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, and they are attacking Becky Lynch backstage. Bianca runs backstage, helps Becky Lynch out. I thought this was a pretty decent way to open up the show because, of course, we still have a lot of questions with Bayley and her new group. So I thought it was pretty cool to start with this. I did enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty cool way to start the show. Later in the night, we did have a match. Asuka going up against Alexa Bliss one-on-one, and I really thought they were going to give us Alexa Bliss beating Asuka here. I thought it was going to be a clean victory with Alexa Bliss because I thought they were trying to re-innovate like Alexa Bliss's character and give her some wins again, get her back up in the title picture. But instead, Bayley's group came out once again and screwed both of them over. They ruined the match, caused a disqualification, and then Bianca Belair comes out, tries to help him out a little bit, and then it ends up in an all-out brawl, total chaos everywhere, and then Bianca Belair issues a match to any member of Bayley's group later in the show. I guess Io Sky stepped up, and then it was Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. Later in the show, one-on-one match. It was actually a pretty decent match. I did enjoy it. Two very talented women in the business here. Some good matches on this show I still got to get into. But yeah, that was a pretty good match that I enjoyed. It did end up in a disqualification after Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Alexa Bliss and Asuka jump in the ring. And then it's sort of given us the breakdown of the storyline. So it's going to be a 3-on-3 story here, at least to start, with Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss going up against Bayley, Dakota Kai, as well as Io Sky. I am looking forward to it. It's something new. It's something fresh. I could get with something like that. You know what I'm saying? Moving over here, it was Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins coming out, center of the ring, talking about how he embarrassed Riddle at SummerSlam. Riddle ended up coming out at SummerSlam. I already talked about it in the review. And he was calling out Seth Rollins. I'm like, what an idiot, dude. You're injured. What are you doing? Rollins ended up curb stomping him, putting him out of action for probably a couple more months until Randy gets back. And then I was expecting maybe Riddle and or Randy, but no. The Street Profits come out. The biggest losers in town. The Street Profits come out. Seth Rollins definitely mentioned how they're losers and how they lost to the Usos not once, not twice, but 3 million times. And then, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins step up. They do a thing of rock, paper, scissors to see who's going to face Seth Rollins. Montez Ford kind of faked out Angelo Dawkins, says rock, paper, and they just ran to the ring. I'm like, ooh, is that setting the seeds for Montez Ford turning on Dawkins? I'm almost guaranteed. And or Dawkins turning on Montez? I don't know. That would be very interesting to see what happens with the Street Profits if they break up, because they're planting the seeds bit by bit. But anyways, it was Montez Ford going up against Seth Rollins one-on-one. This was a really good match. I really enjoyed this match. In the end, we saw Seth Rollins curb stomp Montez Ford. It was a great matchup. He pinned him with a curb stomp. It looked like he was going to go for another one after the match was already over, but then Angelo Dawkins ran down to help out Montez Ford. It looked like they were going to do an angle where Angelo Dawkins turns on Montez Ford, but he did not. They kind of just scared away Seth Rollins to get him out of the ring, which I did enjoy. I liked this part of the show. Moving over here, we had 2 triple threat matches. The first one being AJ Styles versus Mustafa Ali versus The Miz. The second one being Tommaso Ciampa, Dolph Ziggler, and Chad Gable. The winner of both of those matches will face each other later in the show to determine who's going to face Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship next Monday on Raw. I love this, dude. Starting off with the first one, it was AJ Styles, Mustafa Ali, and Miz. Like I said, the finish to this match was so awesome. Mustafa Ali does a 450 splash off the top rope to the Miz, and then AJ Styles catches him as he impacts, hits the Miz into a Styles clash. on top of The Miz. This was awesome. I loved this. AJ Styles picks up the victory. I'm like, easy dub for the Phenomenal One, baby. Loved that match. And then we had Tommaso Ciampa going up against Gable, going up against Ziggler. I enjoyed this. This was a really good match. I thought Ziggler had it in the bag. I thought they were going to do Ziggler versus Styles to determine who's going to face Lashley, but I forgot. My boy Triple H, Mr. NXT, is in charge. So he made Ciampa win this match. Ciampa got Dolph Ziggler out of the equation. Then he was able to hit the fairy tale ending on Chad Gable. And then it was Chad Gable versus AJ Styles later in the show. And I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of torn with this one. Is it going to be Styles? Is it going to be Ciampa? Due to The Miz on ringside, helped out Ciampa multiple times near the end of this match. He put his foot on the rope one time to help him kick out. Or he didn't kick out, but of course it cancels the pin. He held AJ Styles' foot near the timekeeper's wrist, and he almost didn't make the count into the ring. But then once he did, Ciampa was able to hit the fairy tale ending on AJ Styles and beat AJ Styles. I was like, oh my God, Tommaso Ciampa kicking butt here on this show. So it's going to be Ciampa versus Lashley, I would assume, next week on Monday Night Raw for the United States title. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't think Ciampa's going to win, but I am looking forward to it. I think they're going to do an angle where Tommaso Ciampa leaves The Miz, because I think Triple H wants Tommaso Ciampa by himself. Because Tommaso Ciampa is one of the best. He was part of one of the best rivalries in NXT history with Johnny Gargano, in my opinion. So yeah, he could really do some good stuff. But as far as all this goes, great set of matches, some great freaking storytelling throughout the show. I loved it. Moving over here, Edge, not AJ Styles, Edge cut a promo out in the ring. He is back with his good old classic Meddlingest theme song, which I love. He comes out basically saying how he's coming for the Judgment Day. He created it to boost more superstars who aren't really getting the recognition that they deserve, and he got turned on him. He didn't see it coming, but he is going to destroy what he created. I loved this promo. I thought it was to the point. I thought it was really good. Later in the show, we had the Mysterios going up against the Usos for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. This was actually a really decent match. I did enjoy it. Literally every match on the show was really good. In the end, we did see the Usos pick up the victory, though. They were able to secretly tag in, I believe it was Jey Uso. Dominic didn't see it. Super kick. Drops Dominic Mysterio, and then they're able to pin Dominic, which I thought was pretty obvious. I mean, they're the Undisputed Tag Champs. They're not going to be losing those titles on no regular Monday Night Raw tag team match. I was like, no way, that ain't happening. But then after the match, the Mysterios are sitting ducks in the ring, and here comes the Judgment Day. Judgment Day run down, they run through the crowd, they run through the barricades, and they jump the Rey Mysterio and Dominic. They just start beating the holy hell out of them. But then Edge comes out. Edge's music hits a really good pop, by the way, by the Toyota Center. They freaking popped, dude. It was so loud. Look back at it. It was awesome. And then Edge comes out. He starts going ham on Priest, Balor. But then Rhea Ripley, the woman of the group, pulls Dominic in front of Edge, and then Edge accidentally spears Dominic. So that left Rey and Dominic in the ring like, oh my God, why did Edge just spear him? But all Rey has to do is look at the replay. All he has to do is look at the replay and know that it wasn't intentional from Edge. But I do think it's going to be a 3-on-3 deal. The only thing that I'm not the biggest fan about the Judgment Day is Rhea Ripley's in this group. I feel like it needs to be 3 men, honestly, because the only groups that really Judgment Day have feuded with have been groups of other guys. You know, it's not like other guys and one woman. I don't know. I feel like Rhea Ripley needs to be replaced with a guy. That's only my opinion, though. I mean, nothing against her. She's a great talent, but I just think the storylines that Judgment Day are getting into, I feel like Rhea Ripley needs to be replaced with a man. But other than that, I thought it was a great way to end the show. Leave us with a cliffhanger a little bit with Edge spearing Dominic unintentionally. And yeah, I thought it was really cool. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode on Monday Night Raw. I really enjoyed the show. I wasn't looking at my phone waiting for it to end, like, oh my God, finally 20 more minutes. No, I just was watching. I really enjoyed it. Some good wrestling, some good action, some good storytelling here on Monday Night Raw. In the end, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's not going to get the 4 yet. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, but that's really good. Normally, I always give Raw like a 1 or a 2. So 3.5 out of 5 here from Monday Night Raw. And now jumping into SmackDown, there was an insane return that we have to talk about in this part of the video. We're going to jump into it, but before we do, I want to talk about the entire show, give my ranking at the end, so let's do it right now. Starting over here, we opened up the show with Happy Corbin. Well, actually, they started opening up the show with replays from SummerSlam, and they really focused on the Happy Corbin and Pat McAfee match because, of course, that was the first segment that we were going to get. Corbin was watching his technically failure at SummerSlam when he got low blowed and lost to Pat McAfee at SummerSlam. Ricochet came up, insulted him a little bit in front of a group of WWE superstars, and then he's like, how about I meet you in the ring and we have a match? They had a one-on-one match to open up the show. It was actually pretty decent, in my opinion. McAfee stares down Corbin as Corbin's on the top rope. Ricochet trips him up. He gets low blowed by the top rope, and then he's able to hit a insane shooting star press to Happy Corbin, which I thought was a wicked maneuver. I haven't seen a shooting star press in a while. I love that maneuver so much. It would be cool to see a 630 Ricochet, if you're watching this video, by an insane chance. I would love to see the 630 once again. I feel like we haven't seen that move in a while. But yeah, he was able to hit a shooting star press on Corbin to pick up the victory. I thought it was pretty cool. Moving over here, it was Ludwig Kaiser going up against Shinsuke Nakamura again. I feel like we've seen this match so many times now. I feel like it's really worn out and bad. But anyways, match, like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I mean, after I've seen a match like 3 to 4 times, like I don't really care anymore. Anyways, Shinsuke Nakamura was able to pick off Ludwig Kaiser. I believe he hit the Kinshasa kick to pick up the victory. And then he had a little face-off with Gauntlet. So definitely signifying that we're going to be seeing an Intercontinental Championship match in the future. Maybe at Clash of the Castle. I would assume we are. Which ought to be a good match. Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura, two very talented WWE superstars. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Ought to be pretty decent. Moving over here. It was the Viking idiots. They came out and they had an enhancement match or a squash match where they just come out and beat up local talent. They beat up some guys from South Carolina and won the match, obviously. And then Kofi Kingston from out of nowhere with a kendo stick attacks the Viking idiots from behind. Starts beating the heck out of him with kendo stick, takes him out. And then they get a one-on-one match, Eric versus Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston's able to win that match, which I thought was awesome. He was able to pin him with a little pinning combination. I'm like, what? I was actually really shocked. I thought the Viking idiots were going to get the best of Kofi Kingston. But Kofi Kingston, on his own, without Xavier Woods or Big E, is able to take out the Viking idiots. Or at least one of them. And then he kind of hightailed because Ivar was coming in to whoop his butt. But yeah, I thought it wasn't bad. I'm not the biggest fan of the Viking Raiders and New Day story. I think it's kind of really freaking lame. Moving over here, Sami Zayn was trying to get into the office of Roman Reigns all night, but the Usos would not let him in. They just would not let him in, and then they finally broke it to him. They're like, dude, we, like, the bloodline has reached level 2. We are on a higher level than we've ever been. We got freaking 6 title belts. And, like, basically saying to Sami Zayn, you need to freaking prove yourself more to be the honorary Us. We can't just have you just, weighing us down, having you on our shoulders. Like, you need to get a title belt. You need to show that you belong in the bloodline. So, I don't really know if Sami Zayn's going to, like, pick up a championship or start winning matches. I really don't know what they're going to do with Sami Zayn. If it was up to me, I'd just completely scrap it and just say, yeah, Sami Zayn, cut his hair, give him the freaking tights that he used to wear, underdog from the underground, baby. Bring it back. Moving over here, it wasn't really anything. It was sort of just a announcement that they're going to be having a women's tag team tournament starting on Monday Night Raw this coming week. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Naomi and Sasha Banks did somehow come back to WWE, so I'm interested to see if they're going to be part of this tournament. I don't really care. Not the biggest fan of the Women's Tag Team Championship, so I don't really care at all. I'm not going to lie. Moving over here, it was a gauntlet match to determine Liv Morgan's next challenger for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Gauntlet match, I'm not going to lie, put me to sleep. This was really freaking boring. It consisted of like all the main roster women they got currently, like Sonya Deville, Aaliyah, Natalya, Shayna Baszler, freaking Shotzi, and then you had Raquel Rodriguez, who dominated most of the match. In the end, it ended up with Raquel Rodriguez going one-on-one with Shayna Baszler to determine who's going to win and face Liv Morgan at Clash of the Castle. And I don't know. I was leaning more towards Raquel to win this. She's the new upstart. But no, they gave it to Shayna Baszler, and I'm really happy about that. I want to see Shayna Baszler beat Liv Morgan at Clash of the Castle, and then I want Ronda to come back, and I want there to be a Ronda and Shayna feud. I think that would be so cool. But yeah, I'm really glad Shayna won this match. I'm a big fan of Shayna Baszler, so I'm interested to see what she's going to do going one-on-one with Liv Morgan at Clash of the Castle. It'll all be pretty good. And then moving over here, it was the Tribal Chief coming out addressing Drew McIntyre. He comes out, he's like, South Carolina, acknowledge me. And then he talked about how much he hated Brock Lesnar. We get it. Let's hope that's the last match, even though it's really good. But let's hope that's the last match between them two. Of course, Drew McIntyre interrupts, and as he's walking down to the ring, we get sort of like a lights out moment, and then some entrance music that seemed familiar to me, but I just couldn't put my head on it right away. And then, before I knew, Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Dude, they are back in WWE. If I remember right, they were released by Vince McMahon, and now they're back. Of course, because Triple H is in charge, baby. So this is freaking nuts. I'm so interested to see if they're going to add Karrion Kross to the Drew and Roman match that's at Clash of the Castle, or if Karrion Kross is, I don't know. But Scarlett put the little hourglass on the ring apron, and then she's like, time is ticking type thing, which I thought was pretty cool. It did overshadow Drew McIntyre a little bit. I kind of forgot that Drew is feuding with Roman at this point, because Karrion Kross had me blown away that he's actually back. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross. He's got hair now, which I knew he did, of course, indie scene. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what Karrion Kross is going to be doing, Reigns and or Drew McIntyre. That'll be really cool. But yeah, that's how they ended the show. That was the entire show in a whole. Besides the Karrion Kross thing, I didn't really like anything on this show. I'm not gonna lie. In the end, I'll probably have to give it a 2 out of 5. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of this show, but the Karrion Kross definitely upped the ranking to a 2. That's for sure. But yeah, guys, that was Monday Night Raw. That was SmackDown setup style. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to smash a like, subscribe to the BrettO Live YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for the next weekend review popping up this Saturday morning. Like always, BrettO Live out.